You close the door all the way? Okay. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashto Tadashatra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashto Tadashatra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sekaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Pipanande. All glories to this. All glories to the assembled devotees. Or should I say, all glories to the assembled devotee? All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotee. Okay, so I'll just chant the sound. Oh, you have that on your device, right? Atabaje Twakila Purushottamam. Excuse me. Okay, so this morning we were reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, chapter 20, Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena, text 27. It's a really nice clock here. You ready? Atabaje Twakila Purushottamam Gunalayam Padmakareva Lalasaha Apyavayor Ekapatis Pradokalir Nasyat Krita Tvachcharanaikatanayoho Tapajeta Kila Purushottamam Gunalayam Padmakareva Lalasaha Apyavayo Ekapatis Pradokalir Nyasyat Krita Tvachcharanaikatanayoho Tapajeta Kila Purushottamam Gunalayam Padmakareva Lalasaha Apyavayor Ekapatis Pradokalir Nasyat Krita Tvachcharanaikatanayoho. Okay, please chant. Tabajeta Gila Purushottamam Gunalayam Padmakareva Lalasaha Apyavayor Ekapatis Pradokalir Nasyat Krita Tvachcharanaikatanayoho. Word by word. Ata, therefore. Bhajay, I shall engage in devotional service. Twa, unto you. Akila, all-inclusive. Purusho Uttamam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Guna Alayam, the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. Padmakara, the goddess of fortune, who carries a lotus flower in her hand. Eva, like. Lalasaha, being desirous. Api, indeed. Abhayo, of Lakshmi and me. Ekapati, one master. Svridoho, competing. Kilihi, quarrel. Na, not. Syat, may take place. Krita, having done. Tvacharana, unto your lotus feet. Ekatanayoho, one attention. Translation. Now I wish to engage in the service of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to serve, just like the goddess of fortune, who carries a lotus flower in her hand. Because his lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. Period. I am afraid that the goddess of fortune and I would quarrel because both of us would be attentively engaged in the same service. Purport. The Lord is here addressed as Akila Purushottam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord of the entire creation. Do you think you could close those doors, please? Sorry. Purusha means the enjoyer, and Uta means the best. There are different kinds of Purushas or enjoyers within the universe. Generally, they can be divided, into three classes. Those who are conditioned, those who are liberated, and those who are eternal. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is called the Supreme Eternal of all eternals, Nityo Nityanam. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entities are eternal. Both the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entities are eternal. The Supreme Eternals are the Vishnu Tattva, or Lord Vishnu and his expansions. So Nitya refers to the personality of Godhead, beginning from Krishna to Mahavishnu, Narayan, and other expansions of Lord Krishna. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Mudishu, there are millions and trillions of expansions of Lord Vishnu as Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, and other incarnations. All of them are called eternals. The word mukta refers to the living entities who never come within this material world. The Buddhas are those living entities who are almost eternally living within this material world. The Buddhas are struggling very hard within this material world to become free from the threefold miseries of material nature and to enjoy life, whereas the muktas are already liberated. They never come into this material world. Lord Vishnu is the master of this material world, and there's no question of his being controlled by material nature. Consequently, Lord Vishnu is addressed here as Purushottam, the best of all living entities, namely Vishnu Tattvas and Jiva Tattvas. It is a great offense, therefore, to compare Lord Vishnu and the Jiva Tattva, or consider them on an equal level. The Mayavadi philosophers equalize the Jivas and the Supreme Lord and consider them to be one, but that is the greatest offense to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Here in the material world we have practical experience that a superior person is worshipped by an inferior person, by inferior one. Similarly, Purushottama, the greatest, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna or Lord Vishnu, is always worshipped by others. Prithu Maharaj therefore decided to engage in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Prithu Maharaj is considered to be an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, but he is called a Shaktivesh incarnation. Another significant word in this verse is Gunalayam, which refers to Vishnu as the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. The Mayavadi philosophers take the absolute truth to be nirguna, without qualities. In accordance with impersonalistic view, but actually the Lord is the reservoir of all good qualities. One of the most important qualities of the Lord is his inclination to his devotees, for which he is called bhagawatsaptaha. The devotees are always very much inclined to render service unto the lotus feet of the Lord. And the Lord is always very much inclined to accept loving service from his devotees. In that exchange of service there are many transcendental transactions, which are called transcendental qualitative activities. Some of the transcendental qualities of the Lord are that he is omniscient, omnipresent, all-pervasive, all-powerful, and the cause of all causes. The absolute truth, the reservoir of all pleasures, the reservoir of all knowledge, the all-auspicious, and so on. Prithu Maharaj desired to serve the Lord with the goddess of fortune. But this desire does not mean that he was situated on the platform of Madhurya Ras. The goddess of fortune is engaged in the service of the Lord in the Rasa Madhurya conjugal love. Although her position is on the chest of the Lord, the goddess of fortune, in her position as a devotee, takes pleasure in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Prithu Maharaj was thinking only of the lotus feet of the Lord because he is on the platform of Dasya Ras, or the servitorship of the Lord. From the next verse we learn that Prithu Maharaj was thinking of the goddess of fortune as the universal mother, Jagan Mata. Consequently, there is no question of his competing with her on the platform of Madhurya Ras. Nonetheless, he feared that she might take offense at his engaging in the service of the Lord. This suggests that in the absolute world there is sometimes competition between servitors in the service of the Lord, but such competition is without malice. In the Vaikuntha worlds, if a devotee excels in the service of the Lord, others do not become envious of his excellent service, but rather aspire to come to the platform of that service. Okay, I'll read the translation again. Now I wish to engage in the service of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to serve just like the Goddess of Fortune, who carries a lotus flower in her hand. Because His Lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. I am afraid that the Goddess of Fortune and I would quarrel because both of us would be attentively engaged in the same service. So when Srila Prabhupada wrote the Krishna book, which he thought was very important because he was an elderly man and he was in the process of translating and commenting on the Bhagavatam, but he was in the early stages of doing that. Means he wasn't close to the 10th canto, which deals with Krishna's pastimes. And Srila Prabhupada had this idea that he may not live to translate and to comment on the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, which, interesting enough, is that idea he had a feeling that he wasn't going to make it, which is true. The feeling actually manifests because Prabhupada only made it up to a particular chapter in the 10th canto. I believe it's a chapter where Lord Brahma stealing the cows and calves and cowherd boys. So Prabhupada had that feeling he wasn't going to be able to translate the whole 10th canto. So he had this idea, okay, let me write Krishna book, because then devotees can read Krishna book and then they can know about Krishna and they can become more Krishna conscious. That was Prabhupada's idea, and he did it. He wrote the Krishna book, got it translated. It's a summary study, which is practically, if you look at it closely, it's practically verse by verse of the 10th canto. So it describes all of Krishna's pastimes there in the 10th canto, the summary study. And Prabhupada said that by reading this one Krishna book, a person can become fully Krishna conscious. And then he said, just by reading one chapter, one could become fully Krishna conscious. And he said, just by reading one paragraph, one could become fully Krishna conscious. And he said, just by reading one sentence, one could become fully Krishna conscious. And then Prabhupada said he went down to one word. So you could become fully Krishna conscious. So it's a very powerful book. And interesting enough is that it's generally understood and advised, and Prabhupada says it many times in his lectures and so on, in his books, that one should not jump to the 10th canto like a monkey or something. And monkey, it's always been it's always an interesting word to use. Don't be a monkey and jump to the 10th canto. Because monkey, the animal, monkey, sometimes people think, oh, it's so cute, and oh, cute little monkey, or people go to the zoo, so look at those monkeys there. But monkey is, in many ways, practically always, like a little rascal. And that monkey's business is to steal people's belongings, and the monkey doesn't care. It's not like the monkey's thinking, oh, I'm going to steal this person's glasses and then they're not going to be able to see. The monkey doesn't care about that. I'm just going to steal their glasses, and if they give me some food, I may give the glasses back if they satisfy my tongue. So really the monkey's just thinking not of the person, whether the person could see or not. They're just thinking that I want something to eat, I want something to place on my tongue, gratify my taste buds. So in other words, they're selfish creatures. So they steal expensive camera. They're not thinking, oh, this is such an expensive camera. This costs whatever, how much cameras cost? $4,000. Some cameras are a little pricey. The monkey doesn't care. They just take it and throw it down and bring it up in the tree and just drop it from the tree. Or I'm taking somebody's passport. Monkey's thinking, oh, well, how are they going to get into their country? It's going to cause them so many problems. Because if you lose your passport, it's a problem, actually. Interesting enough, it's just a small little book with some information, but it's a problem. So the monkey doesn't consider all that. It just wants to eat. And monkeys are very... they are not animals who are known to like control their senses. Like we were just saying, eating, also their sex urge, it's uncontrolled. So in other words, when Prabhupada says, or when someone says, don't be like a monkey and jump to the 10th canto, means that people who jump to the 10th canto are like monkeys. That their senses aren't controlled, their senses are out of control, and they're just not qualified. Just like a monkey is not qualified to read the 10th canto. So Prabhupada's saying that don't be like a monkey and jump to the 10th canto. Why? Because the result of an unqualified person jumping to the 10th canto is they just commit offenses and they do not understand Krishna's pastime. Especially, they do not understand the conjugal pastimes of Krishna. Conjugal means Krishna with the gopis. Krishna's dancing with the gopis, embracing the gopis, kissing the gopis, so many things. So how do you understand that? So Prabhupada's saying if you don't go through the Srimad Bhagavatam systematically, and you just jump like a monkey, even though you may say, well, I control my senses, I'm not like a monkey. Okay, fine, but the result of reading the 10th canto while being unqualified, especially the conjugal pastimes of Krishna, will result in not a you could say decrease of material desires, but an increase of material desires. Why? Because if one reads about the conjugal pastimes of Krishna, they may just think about their mundane affairs, or the mundane affairs that they would like to engage in. In other words, sexual relations, that's what they may think of. So, and in this way, you become like a monkey. So therefore, the idea is do not jump to the 10th canto. But interesting enough, even though Srila Prabhupada said this, do not jump to the 10th canto, he translated a summary study of the 10th canto. And he told devotees to read it. And not only did he tell devotees to read it, but he said, you should print thousands of them, and you should distribute in mass distribution. So that's quite interesting, because on one hand he's saying, do not jump to the 10th canto like a monkey. And on the other hand, he's saying, okay, I just gave you the summary study, now pass it all over the world. So Prabhupada, by doing that, there's a further injunction that if you hear from undisturbed authorities, the 10th canto, and if you hear from the right person, the 10th canto, then it has the effect to inspire you in the right way. In other words, you won't become confused. So Prabhupada did say that, and that is generally the case. But Prabhupada is so expert, so qualified, that he wrote Krishna book in such a way whereas people will get the highest benefit even though they're not qualified, or they may not be qualified. And in the Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada, this purport is discussing liberated souls, conditioned souls. So Prabhupada says that there's different types of souls. He says that there's conditioned souls, which make up practically all the population in this world. And then there's those who are trying to be liberated and those who are liberated. So Prabhupada says in the Krishna book that, in the introduction, that this Krishna book will be attractive to all. Those who are conditioned, they'll be attracted by Krishna's pastimes. Those who are trying to be liberated will be attracted, and those who are liberated, definitely those who are liberated. But Prabhupada also makes a disclaimer there that those who are killers of themselves, means those who are too much in the mode of ignorance, too much in the mode of passion, they will not be attracted. And those who are animal killers will also not be attracted. So, and that makes up a lot of the population, actually. Animal killers, which also means animal eaters, makes up a lot of the population. And those who are just killers of themselves means they're into hedonism. Hedonism is just out and out materialism. They're just interested in their senses, gratification of their senses. So those people won't be attracted. So the idea is that whether we're conditioned, which we could say most are, and whether we should come to the stage of trying to be liberated, and we should come to the stage of liberated. But at least we should try. We have to try to become liberated, and then become liberated eventually. So understanding that there are conditioned souls, there's souls that are trying to be liberated, and there's souls that are liberated. An intelligent person, they consider what category do I want to be in? Do I want to be in the conditioned soul category? Do I want to be in the trying to be liberated category? Or do I want to be in the liberated category? An intelligent person comes to the conclusion that they want to be not in the conditioned platform, because that is a platform of ignorance, that is a platform of suffering, that is a platform of godlessness, which all means hell. Suffering is hell, ignorance is hell, and especially suffering and ignorance without God is definitely hell. Godlessness. So an intelligent person, they come to the conclusion that I don't want to be in that stage. So the next stage that they enter is the trying to be liberated stage. Now that stage may go on for some years and some lifetimes even, but that is by far a better stage to be in. And then finally there's the liberated stage, which is where we want to be, where we should want to be. So if one has come to the conclusion that I want to get out of this ignorance, get out of this suffering, get out of this godlessness, which again is just the definition of hell, ignorance, suffering, and godlessness, then they reach the stage of trying to be liberated. But what does that mean? What does the stage trying to be liberated mean? It means that they're trying to become Krishna conscious. And aside from becoming Krishna conscious, trying to become Krishna conscious, they themselves have removed themselves, or you could say Krishna or the spiritual master, the devotees, by their grace, by their mercy, have picked them up to a particular degree by which they don't feel the suffering, the ignorance, the godlessness as much as they used to. So in other words, the hellish conditions of material existence are reducing. And anybody who's just been around for a little while can at least say that, or else they're completely doing everything wrong. So we could say that, okay, those things have reduced. We should be able to say that. If we're chanting 16 rounds and following the 4 principles and trying to engage in devotional service, we should at least say that. So upon realizing that, we should try to extend our good fortune to others. Why? Because we understand what it's like to be in ignorance, to be in suffering, to be in godlessness. It's just like hell. It is hell. We understand what it likes to be. We understand what it is to be in hell. At least I do. So understanding that and feeling relief from that, there should be, the natural next step should be, we should have some compassion for people in that state. And that is a sign that we are actually, you could say, becoming more Krishna conscious, or that we're becoming Vaishnavas. What's the definition of a Vaishnav that we say every morning? Ancha kapadribhishya kripasindubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So Vaishnavas are just like desire trees, could fill the desires of everyone. They're full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. But aside from that, in the translation it says Kripa Sindhu. There are oceans of mercy. What does that mean? Is that just some poetical statement? Is that just something to make everybody feel good? No, it's a statement that is meant to define what a Vaishnava is, that they're ocean of mercy. That means they're kind to all living entities. And that kindness is not some mundane thing, but the kindness is manifested by them trying to give Krishna consciousness to others. So if we ask ourselves, sometimes devotees may ask themselves, how do I become more compassionate? Which that's a good question, because we should want to become more compassionate. So how do we become more compassionate? We become more Krishna conscious. Because aside from us becoming more Krishna conscious, when we're connected with Krishna, that means we understand Krishna's mood, or we understand Lord Chaitanya's mood. If we're connected with someone, that means we understand their mood. That's what it means. Like if you have a good friend, you understand their mood, who they are, what they stand for, what they like, what they don't like, what is their mission in life. You understand very clearly. So similarly, if we become more and more connected with Krishna, we will understand what is Krishna's mood. And Krishna's mood, especially in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Hare Krishna Vijay Prabhu. I didn't realize you were coming at this time. So we understand Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood, and his mood is Karuna Avatar. He is a mercy incarnation, which means he comes to deliver everyone, to free everyone. And aside from him coming to deliver everybody and free everyone, he extends that invitation, and it actually makes an order for all of his devotees to do the same. Yadidikataka Krishna Badesh. Wherever you go, whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna, and this way become a guru. So it's not that one is becoming a guru fun, or one is becoming a guru for fame or followers. 3 F's: fun, fame, followers, fortune, right? Fun or fame or followers or fortune, whatever. But one is becoming a guru to help people, and specifically to bring them to the lotus feet of Krishna, bring them to the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if we become more and more connected to them, then we'll understand their great mercy, their great compassion. And there's one verse in the Bhagavad Gita which Dravida Prabhu, he was explaining that there's anukampaya, which in that particular verse, Krishna is saying, out of compassion, out of mercy, I dwell within their hearts, illuminate with the torchlight of knowledge. And that anukampaya means like Krishna's like trembling out of compassion. He's feeling so much compassion for the devotees. So part of trying to be in a liberated soul is trying to help others reach that stage of being endeavoring to be liberated souls. So that's the idea. So yeah, Krishna's pastimes are attractive to most, besides the Atmaha, right, the killer of the self or the killer of animals. And it is really the devotees' business to somehow or other attract people to Krishna. Of course, Krishna is all attractive, but still, preaching means we have to try to attract people as well. So, like yesterday, somebody brought up in the class that to Kontia Prabhu that a lot of millennials, which means, I don't know, 18 to 32 or something there. I forgot the exact age, but I thought I wasn't a millennial, but apparently I am. I'm 31. But a lot of them are not, they're rejecting the idea of belonging to a particular religious organization. This organization, that organization. They probably, and the idea is that they see hypocrisy in it, or they go there and they don't really feel anything, they don't really feel a spiritual experience, so they're not so attracted. And also it was brought up that so many of them, large percentage of people, they just go to church or some religious, temple, mosque, this and that, like once or twice a year, on the special occasions. But one thing that was noted is that they're not out and out becoming atheists, which has happened a lot in Europe and other countries, but they're becoming, they said they're open to having a spiritual experience. So what does that mean? That means that when they come to the temple, when they come to the Krishna lounge, when they meet devotees, even just meeting a devotee, actually it should be a spiritual experience. It's not that we have to throw them in a kirtan, spin them around, put some halava in their mouth, and right. Of course, that's a spiritual experience. But even just meeting a devotee should be a spiritual experience. Like when devotees go out on books, we should be so spiritually fired up, so spiritually charged up that people feel some spiritual energy emanating from us, and that some Krishna consciousness, right, should be coming out of our pores. And then people will have a spiritual experience, and they'll think, oh, this isn't just some ordinary man out here, distributing, trying to pass out books or collect money or whatever, trying to get some followers or something. This person really cares about me, they have compassion for me, and they feel something. So, and that's what, like with Prabhupada, devotees, so many devotees have recorded, just being with Prabhupada was a spiritual experience. Going on a walk with Prabhupada and talking to him, it was a spiritual experience. All these, just sitting down and having a conversation with Prabhupada is a spiritual experience. Why? Because he had so much of that, let's say, Krishna Shakti, right, which we need to be empowered with to spread Krishna consciousness. So if we're able to create that, by Krishna's mercy, the devotee's mercy, a spiritual atmosphere, means a surcharged Krishna conscious atmosphere, like a Vrindavan atmosphere. When people will come, they'll be inspired. And if we are Krishna conscious, when they meet us, they'll be inspired. So that's what's being advised, or that's what Prabhupada really wants us to do. One of the main things he wants us to do, to try to extend ourselves. Why? Because Krishna is Bhaktivatsal. He's very affectionately inclined towards his devotees. And who's a devotee? Everybody's a devotee. They're just forgot. They're in ignorance. So Krishna is very eager to get them back. Now Prithu Maharaj, it says, very interesting, he wants to serve he wants to serve Vishnu just as Lakshmi serves Vishnu, massaging his feet and all this. And Prabhupada makes the point in the purport that he's not on the platform of Madhuri Ras. He is in the platform of Dasya Ras. He just has this strong desire to serve as Lakshmi does, massaging lotus feet of Vishnu. And Prabhupada makes this point of competition. So that in the absolute world, there's sometimes competition. There's devotees that are competing with each other, but there's no envy. It's not that, oh, well, this devotee's doing better, and let me spoil his name, let me stain his name, let me at least be envious within my mind, or something like that. But the devotees are happy that they're serving Krishna so nicely. So similarly, Prabhupada's saying that that's the Vaikuntha mood, that there may be competition between devotees even in this world, but the idea is that when someone does well, we're pleased with them. Like if someone, two book parties go or something, and one book party just does really well, you're pleased that the person did so well. Instead of displeased, that, oh, why didn't I do well, and they're better than me, and now I'm envious, and something like that. So we want to be non-envious, and that is the, could say, transcendental competition. And Prabhupada would inspire that sometimes, right? Devotees would have different, I'm just thinking about different book distribution parties. There was a Radha Damodar party, which was doing I believe 40% of all the books in the world. And then, there's this party, that party, and they're competing. They compete sometimes. So, but it's supposed to be transcendental. It can't degrade into some a mundane thing. So we have to be careful. And when we see somebody doing well, that should inspire us to try to come to that platform of service. That's the idea. So this is what. These are some points that are being said in the purport. So, does anybody have any questions or comments?
Something you had mentioned briefly. Well, you were speaking on in relation to Krishna and his devotees, and you had said specifically. On the internet?
Yeah.
You had said specifically.
Yeah, I think it has to be a little closer. Yeah.
Sorry. That Krishna is trembling with compassion for his devotees. But one could say, well, the people out there, all the karmis or non-devotees, they're suffering much more than the devotees are, so how come Krishna doesn't tremble with compassion for...
He is.
Yeah. Well,
Lord Chaitanya. That's why Lord Chaitanya came. There's two reasons he came. There's external and there's internal. Which external doesn't mean less important. It just means external. Internal reason, he wanted to relish the transcendental emotions, the transcendental ecstasy, the transcendental feelings of Srimati Radharani. And external means he wanted to give Krishna consciousness out to others. So he is coming. He is trembling compassion. He doesn't like people to suffer. So, yeah. But because the devotees are open to Krishna's mercy, the devotees are open to Krishna's kindness, then, yeah, Krishna, at times it may seem that he extends himself more. So, I mean, like, Prabhupada said that ISKCON is like, ISKCON is incarnation of Krishna. He said that. And what is the business of ISKCON? The business of ISKCON is not business, just to amass money and buildings for sense gratification or something. The business of ISKCON is like a factory that's pumping out mercy. That's the whole business of ISKCON. Like, you know, we print so many books. Why? To give people knowledge. We do so much Harinam all over the world. Why? To give people the holy name. Why do we have such beautiful deity worship? So when people come and they become devotees, or especially Indians are more inclined towards deities, obviously, but when anybody comes, or when anybody becomes a devotee, they become attracted to the deity. We make nice prasad. Why? So the devotees could be inspired. But aside from that, for preaching purposes, we want to attract people. We keep the property as clean as possible. Hopefully, that's the idea. Why? So people are attracted. So practically every aspect of ISKCON is meant to inspire souls to become devotees. That's the whole idea. So, and it's such a wonderful thing, actually, that Prabhupada created. It's absolutely wonderful. Despite apparent flaws, or maybe real flaws it may have, is absolutely wonderful. Why? Because within the world, it is the leading distributor of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy and culture and the holy name, and leading distributors. It's absolutely amazing. So if someone would say, oh, well, Krishna doesn't have mercy on the conditioned souls, of course he does. That's the proof is ISKCON. That's the supreme proof. So, yeah. Does anybody have any other questions? Glenn?
Specifically cleared it up when you said, and because the devotee is more open to receiving mercy, it may appear as if Krishna, what was the word you used? I guess it may appear that you extending.
Just like the sun, right? Probably gives an example. The sun's shining, and the sun or the rain falls on the stones, on the ocean, everywhere. It's not really discriminating, right? So also the sun shining. I guess you go some places not shining so much, but the sun. If the sun is shining and you refuse to go outside and get the benefit of the sun, which they say the morning sun's especially beneficial for health. And it says the afternoon sun is a little draining, like that. But morning sun is especially good. But if you refuse to go outside, then you're not going to get the benefit of the sun. So people, they refuse to take shelter of Krishna. They refuse to be Krishna conscious, God conscious, and then they're just remained in darkness. So that's the idea. Yeah, but the devotees, they're open. They go outside, they bathe in the sunlight, right, of the holy name. They're open to it. So therefore, they get more benefit. So. But that is also a devotee's life, is that whether people are open to it or not, devotee is very eager to somehow or other give them mercy, whether they want it or not, or they deserve it or not, or whatever the case. It's almost like they want to grab someone who's refusing to go outside and who wants to be a slob. They grab them by their arm or by whatever, and they drag them outside. Here, sit in the sunlight. This is good for you. So that's, devote. So that's what people need, actually, too, because we think we shouldn't just say, oh, well, we just want to kind of sit back and people come to us. Well, people are mad. That's what Rishabhadev says. Nunam pramate kurute vikarma. They're just too much intoxicated with desires for sense gratifications, so they don't know what's good for them. Just like someone who's addicted to drugs and so on, they need someone to grab them and drag them to a rehab. So similarly, a lot of conditioned souls are like that. Not all of them. Some of them are sattvic, more attracted easily, but A lot of them are like that. They need to be taken and sit out in the sun. So, okay, Glenn, did you have?
I just want to share this story that Badrinarayan Swami Maharaj told me this morning.
Okay.
He was telling me a story.
I'm surprised he told you a story.
He was sharing a pastime of Prabhupada with Mukunda Maharaj.
Yeah.
They were on a morning walk, and a gentleman was telling them, good morning, like that, good morning. So this happened a few times, and then when the gentlemen were kind of far away, Prabhupada told Mukunda Maharaj, "Do you know what good morning means to them?" And then he said, "Nothing bad has happened yet."
Yes.
And then so Badrinarayan said, actually the Vaishnav, they could only say good morning. They wake up to darshan of Krishna, and then they Mangal Arati, Tulsi, and then Bhagavatam, and then Prasad. So that's a good morning for Vaishnav.
Yes, that's true. Okay, try. So, what did you make for breakfast? Granthad Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Yeah. Yeah. I think the verse starts with Ayor Haditi Vaipum Sam. Ayor is A-Y-U-R. A-Y-U-R. Ayor Haditi, I think. Haditi Vaipum Sam. Maybe you just look up rising and setting the sun. Which that verse is saying that by the rising and the setting of sun, the duration of a man's or a person's life is decreased. Besides those who hear and chant the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in other words, the sun doesn't, rising and the setting of the sun doesn't decrease a devotee's life. But they, and then Prabhupada says in the purport on old age and disease and this and that is signs or impetus for eternal life, which means they're getting closer to leaving this body and entering eternal life. Whereas for an ordinary person, they just take another birth. So, I horror Haditi Vaipum.